Cause I was on YouTube. Watching TY38. Yeah.
All right, all my entrepreneurs. This is another episode of the Look Into Entrepreneurs. Today we have Barbecue. How you doing today, Barbecue?
I'm good. How are you, Ty? How's everything?
I'm doing good. First and foremost, I always ask people what made you want to be an entrepreneur.
I've worked so much for other people, and I've
Okay,
given so much time and put out so much energy, creativity that I feel like I owe it to myself to do that and be my own boss. You
okay,
have to follow certain rules and things like that that may not, vibe with you. And entrepreneurship is a beautiful way of creating wealth, family wealth, if you're diligent at what you do.
okay.
And just being in control.
So,
Mhm.
what actually do you do, Carby?
So I'm retired and in my retirement phase of life. So I got into prepping after we had the whole, jib jab thing. And when we were fighting over toilet paper, I found that to be ridiculous for the United States to be so advanced in so many things that toilet paper would be the thing to bring us to our knees.
Right.
We have people fighting with each other. So I started researching how we can. Well, before that, we also had like a slight lockdown, and we were only allowed to go to either the hospital or the supermarket in case of emergency. When looking around my parents' house, because I left New York and came to PA, I realized my parents weren't ready. If we have to stay in this house, we don't have enough food in the house to last us until we can get back out. It's not enough toilet paper. And we just needed to be better prepared just in case if something like this ever happened again. So that started my journey on prepping. And in that journey of prepping is so vast. Prepping entails so much. I kind of just dove right in, went on YouTube, found some preppers, started watching them, and just started building up my prep supplies and learning more
Like,
about prepping through that.
like a doomsday prepper?
Well, there's doomsday preppers
Okay.
and people like there's different subsections of it if you want to. There's the very hardcore people, and then there's people that kind of prep for just in case. For me, it's more than just in case. It's security. It's peace of mind. It's taking yourself out of the crazy element that is going to go on, like it did with the toilet paper, and running to the store and there's none there, or you're fighting somebody for the last roll. You can kind of sit back and let everybody else deal with that because you have prepped ahead of time to
Okay.
make sure that you can weather whatever that is. And it's not really just doomsday. It can be a natural disaster. It could be a tornado or a hurricane, a
Right.
power outage, grid down. It could be the loss of a job. You may lose your job, and majority of people are paycheck to paycheck. You have enough food, you have enough toiletries, you have enough things in your house that can kind of carry you until you find something else,
Okay.
and you're just not, down and out. So for me, it's a win-win whenever you look at it because it's stuff you're going to use. You're prepping the stuff that you use, your family use, and it just puts you ahead of the game.
Okay, so when you say prepping besides food, do you tell people they may need generators, things like that?
hmm So
Okay,
prepping is so vast. Like if you live in an apartment, you may not need a generator that somebody lives in a house
right.
that's living in a house. But if you live in an apartment with a fireplace, that's half your battle. You can get heat. You can still cook from your fireplace as long as it goes out, right? Now, if you don't, there's always your balcony. There's so many other things that you can use. You're gonna need your generator to power up your phones if they're still working. And if you get a really good generator, you can still keep your fridge going, which will preserve your food inside there longer, and it just saves you a headache after the fact. There's also medical machines that some people may have in their homes, like CPAP machines and so forth, that you may need a generator if the power did go out because
Okay,
somebody needs that you know, to live or breathe. Same thing with asthmatics. Some people have beds that are operated, they're bedridden, so you need the bed to help them sit up to eat. all of that takes energy. So if you don't have a generator to keep that going, that person is kind of stuck.
Okay.
So yeah.
So, what are the I'll probably say, what are the top three essential things that you may say that you may need?
Well, top three things would be water,
Okay.
food, and if I have to pick the third one, I'm gonna pick some form of defense.
Okay.
Because if you have all those things inside here, when it gets really crazy out there, you know, we have a tendency to turn on each other because we're without. That's my dog.
Okay. I sure was like, like, what's going on? All right. Yeah, I know. I won't say I'm a big prepper. I'll be honest. Like, even with what just happened a few years ago with COVID, it was like, yeah, went to the grocery store, wasn't no need. So it was like it was very the bare minimum. So I can totally understand that. And the last time that I actually dealt with, like, I'll say a slight natural disaster was in 2010 when Nashville flooded. And I think we was out of power for like 3 days. But luckily, I owned generators, so we were still able to, watch some TV, keep the iPads and phones charged up like that. But other than that, we was lucky we went grocery shopping a few days before. But if it was like that, because there was some people that was literally rained in or was say stuck in their residence for 4 or 5 days. So, and I can imagine not having any of those essential things, especially water. You know what I mean? You don't. That's why I tell people it's so weird that a lot of people like, I don't drink faucet water. Everybody, you got some bottled water. It's like, yeah, when it comes down to it, you don't be drinking more than faucet water.
Absolutely, you'd be surprised the type of water the chicken are drink. Can you hold on 1 second? I just need to put him outside real
No problem.
quick.
I need to hook my stream yard up. We got the cool little barbecue. That's cool. Look at that stuff. Stay ready. Shit.
I'm sorry.
No, look, I was sitting here reading your logo. My face was close as hell to the screen. I was like, I hope she didn't see my face all close to the screen like that. So you say, stay ready, huh?
Stay ready all
That's
the
your
time.
motto.
Stay ready. I believe in staying ready. I believe in being prepared. When you look at like when I went through my journey of getting into prepping, I really didn't see too many people of color prepping. Not that they're not prepping, but on live, on a place where we can go and learn something from. Within the 2 years that I've been doing it, more people have come on. And I think that's such an important thing for us to do because we're like way behind the eight ball, where others are actually way ahead. And we need to get on board with that because there is a security behind it. When you look at a lot of the natural disasters that happen and it hits our community, it hits it really hard. And it's hard for us to get back from it because we're not prepared. We need to start paying attention to what's going around. Like the times that we're living in, who would ever thought they'd live in a time where you're paying $20 for a tray of eggs?
Yeah, right.
It's crazy. Right? Or you go into the store and the inflation is what you normally would pay for shopping has increased 3, 4 times as much,
Yeah,
but pay raises aren't going up. We're catching it from both ends. Whatever they do on the top, it they're not concerned with how it affects us because we're just in between. There is no middle class anymore to me, or eventually it's going to fade out. So it's just going to be either rich or poor, and you might want to get on board. You know, our liberties are being taken away, or one by one, and to weather this storm, whatever happens, we need to prepare. We need to get on board and be self sufficient. Don't rely on the government to save you because they're not.
mm.
Save yourself, be your first responder.
So, with prepping, do you also teach techniques like CPR and things like that? I know that's kind of vital.
When you look at disasters when they happen, majority of your first responders can't even get to you it's going to take them a few days. So it would be in your best interest to take those classes, learn CPR, basic first aid, stop the bleed. If you have firearms, you should definitely have a stop the bleed class behind your belt with that.
Okay.
Because you never know if a loved one, and you might have to treat them, and the time that you took to do that, you could prolong their life because you'll know what to do in that instant. Um, Ham radio classes or something else that we should look into when you're
Say
prepping. Ham,
hand rate.
yeah, ham, like the
Oh,
meat ham.
oh,
Yeah, 8 a.m. ham radio. So if the power grid goes down, you can utilize your ham radio to converse with family members just to make sure people are okay. Or if you have to leave your home and head out to your other destination, you kind of keep in contact with people, let them know, your waypoints or whoever your MAG is. Your MAG is your mutual assistance group. Would be a group of people that get together should something happen. Absolutely. It's a different world. It's definitely a lifestyle. It's not a hobby because you will change your lifestyle. And in the long run, prepping actually saves you money because you learn how to preserve food that you cooked, and you know where it came from and whose hands was in it and what they put in it. And there's canning that attaches to prepping, which is another way to prolong the shelf life of your food that you cook at home. There's gardening.
candy
I'm sorry.
on food.
Yeah, can your own food.
Okay.
Like you can buy your meats, you can can it, you can raw pack it. I know this is a strange name, but that's what it's labeled as, raw packing. And then you can cook it or sear it and then put it inside there in the jar, seal it. There's a whole process for that. It's not difficult, it's easy.
Okay.
And there's many groups out there to show you how to do it. But you extend your shelf life for almost 20 years of your food, depending on what it is. Getting your kids started is as soon as you're ready to do it. Kids are like sponges. So whatever you teach them, they're going to learn. And it's probably like the best time to teach them because instead of them just, when situations happen, they become like these amazing little helpers. Repetition,
Right.
a bug out bag. You get them a bug out bag, and it's going to consist of certain things. They know where the bag is, they know when there's an emergency. Grab the bag, meet dad at the door, or meet at the car. Look at your kids, though. Like you just said, your daughter likes to cook, right? So your daughter can be in charge of canning. Is a very simple process. But of course, you have to be with her because you have to use the stove. But she can be in charge of grabbing the food, or depending on the situation or the disaster or what's going on, and what your plan of action is for that particular disaster or issue, right? So you kind of give them instructions and you run little drills with them so they know if it's a fire. If you have pets, grab the dog, grab the cat, grab your bag, and meet that at the door. If there's smoke, what do? Drop low, crawl out, don't touch the door. You kind of go through all the little fire safety or hurricane because everything is listed. They'll tell you exactly what it is that you need to know, and you just train your kids. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was saying okay. That's yeah. I was going off what were you saying. So, do you have like a forum or a website that people can?
No, not as yet. That's what I was doing with my page. I'm revamping everything for
Okay.
social media because everything now is pretty much digital. So I'm trying to get everything up and running so people could just refer back to the site. They can get a list, how to start your list. And I'm going to be doing a few videos so it's more chronologically in order when
Okay.
you start to prep. Because before you do anything, you just go through your house and pull all your stuff out. Because half the stuff you have already in your house, you just don't view it as a prepping item. Or you might have forgot you even have that. So you want to go through your house first before you even go out and buy anything. Separated by sections. There's water, there's fire, shelter, your protection, your security, and you want to start separating little piles into that. Your medication is something very important as well, especially if you take medication that you need every day, heart, diabetes, high blood pressure, prescription meds that you need to survive. You want to get an extra supply of that just to keep in case something happens and the pharmacy is blown away or blew up or whatever happened to it, that you can still maintain your healthy regimen with your medications. You want to keep that on deck. So yeah, it's a lot to prepping.
Yeah, I totally see because I'm sitting here like canning for one. I'm like I'm still over here on the canning. Like yeah, I was just watching some of them canning sardines. I don't think I can can no sardines.
Sardines, you don't have to can because sardines actually last a long time in its actual can.
Okay.
You if you want to so there are meats. We just had a situation where like 10,000 plus cows just died. So they were, thirsty, dehydrated, whatever happened, nobody knows, but they died. So that's a limited resource now. Meat had went up for a minute and now it's back down. What's more expensive is chickens.
Yeah, I
Trying to
just
get some
saw
chicken.
one of the largest chicken coops in America just caught on fire.
That's right. In Connecticut,
Yeah, with chicken flu. I'm like, yeah, it's something
cows.
going on.
It's so crazy because eggs are expensive, and all of a sudden a chicken coop goes on fire.
Yeah, I know with eggs. Like, might as
Right,
well just go get some pigeons.
right. If you can do that, like if you live someplace where you can have animals,
Okay.
that's a great way to one save money, to ensure that you're able to feed your family in a ship situation.
So, do you know how to hunt?
Hunting is the thing I hate the most because I don't like killing animals, but it is something that I'm actually going to take a class in how to dress the kill when you get it.
Okay.
The
And
whole
what?
part of pulling the trigger to kill it, that's my issue.
Okay. And what
Yeah.
about gardening?
Gardening, I'm not getting into that. So because where I live, the HOA won't allow us to plant anything. So what I'm trying now is we can grow microgreens in a mason jar, and it takes 5 days for it to produce some type of greens for you to eat. So I'm doing that, and I'm looking into hydroponics. Another thing in prepping is bartering. You can barter your fruits for somebody who has eggs, because currency at that point in ship, everything is electronical. You can't even go use your ATM card. I think that was in Louisiana when they had something happen. People couldn't use the ATM for a couple of days, couldn't get any money out, couldn't do anything. So bartering comes into play with that.
Hmm.
You have something to barter with that you can keep reproducing. It kind of turns into cash in a way. You can
Yeah.
get fruits for or servers. Maybe the front door got kicked in or whatever, and somebody knows how to fix that. You exchange for it. So yeah, if you can grow it, look into grow bags for your patio. They're
Hmm.
called grow bags, and you can
Okay.
grow vegetables and fruit out of that, and you can move the bags wherever you want to move them. So that might help you out as well.
Now, I see you have some medals behind you or something. You getting services?
So right here on the
Yeah.
thing, no, those are other gun YouTubers that I got their patches and I put it on my safe.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty
Thank
cool.
you. Yeah.
So I know, like I say, Ivan, shout out to my boy. I'm not from this planet, but
Yeah.
he actually hooked us up, and I know he's into guns, technology, and stuff like that. And I saw on your logo you got a AR-15. So besides prepping, are you into guns?
I like guns. I'm not into it like the way the YouTubers are. For me, with prepping, it's more practicality. It's more for protection.
Yeah.
So I kind
Okay.
of I don't really show too much of my firearms. I'm kind of low key on certain things because everything is not for everybody. That's just my mind. My mind is a little crazy. So sometimes certain things I don't like to really show. To me, it just in this setting, like it just lets people know what you have. I don't need you to know everything that I have, because you might could counter that. So yeah.
So Do you what's the name of your business, or do you have a name for the?
It's if everything goes through, I don't even know if I should say it right now.
Okay,
Let me
well,
wait for
no,
the paperwork
we
to,
can get
yeah.
that.
Let me wait for the
Yeah,
paperwork
hold on.
to, yeah.
Okay, so when are you looking to launch? Do you at least have a set date to launch?
I'm looking at with hopefully I can get everything done within the next 6 months.
6 months. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to have everything together. You know, God willing, everything works the way it's supposed to go through. Then yeah, I'll definitely do it. Um, I want to bring some instructing classes to the people. Get trained on your skill set. Bushcrafting is another part of prepping. Living off the land and being able to do everything that you could do in your house outside.
Okay.
So yeah, that's quite a few trainings I have to go through first, and then
That's what I was about to ask. I would say, do you have to get some certification for some of these things?
absolutely stop the bleed. You have to go through the class to learn it. Then you have to go through an instructor's class, as well as ham radio, as well as CPR, first aid. You have, if you want to teach it to other people, you know, you'll have to go through the class and then go through the instructor's class as well. So it's, you know,
Okay.
it's gonna take a little time, but yeah, I'll get it done.
Okay. Okay. So in the next 2 to 3 years, what are you looking to accomplish?
Next 2 to 3 years, I think in the next 2 to 3 years, if I can travel um, around the world just to see how they prep and bring some of those things back to us here, that would be great. More tactical classes, clearing a house, CQB, a lot of things. I don't want to say too much on the gun stuff because I know it's a little crazy right now, so I don't want the channel to get striked on anything. But I'm definitely taking more training in that particular arena because I'll be moving from this location to another location and having to set up a perimeter, making sure you know your streets, the back streets to it. All of that takes time. So I want to take some classes so that I'm a lot. I'm not a country person. I'm from the city, so moving to the country is going to be a big adjustment for me.
Is it anything you would like to tell the people out there, just for safety reasons? Just any advice you'd like to give them?
Just pay attention to what's going on. Don't get sidetracked with the distractions. Stay focused. Prep. Put some extra cans of food away. Get those 5 gallon food grade buckets. Throw some rice and beans. You'll be surprised how long you can survive off of just rice and beans. Put some stuff away for your kids, and just stay ready because it's going to be a little bumpy ride for a little bit.
Okay.
And pay attention. Even if it doesn't happen here, it can happen here, and don't be surprised if it does because it's such a weird time to be alive. And when I tell you, instead of moving forward, I think we move backwards. But yeah, stay ready, y'all, because it's coming. If you don't have your firearms, if you're interested in it, get your training with your firearms. Don't just buy it and keep it. If you have kids, make sure you have a safe. You know, take it very seriously. Train your kids. You know, take your kids with you to the range and let them see what it's like. They're little sponges. They're gonna absorb whatever you put into them. If you take the training, you'll learn the safety, and you can teach that to them. So stay ready, y'all. Pay attention.
Well, everybody, y'all heard what Barbecue say. Stay ready. Pay attention. Definitely pay attention to your surroundings. Barbecue, I appreciate you giving me this interview.
I appreciate you.
I look forward to seeing you in the future. To all
Absolutely.
my entrepreneurs, this is another episode of the Look Into an Entrepreneur. And we'll see y'all on the next one.
Bye, y'all.
All right.